Hello, so I'm Carrie Washington. I am the director of BEEE Creative. I am a dancer by trade, so I trained as a professional dancer with English National Ballet and then went on to do a degree in dance at Middlesex University. BEEE Creative has become a branding I developed in the last 18 months to encompass everything I do in dance, including teaching, lecturing, project management, which then encompasses fundraising, marketing, and various different elements of running the business. But it's all driven by looking to connect people to opportunities to get involved in dance. So really about challenging perceptions about who dance is for, and so really promoting the benefits of dance. So different people get into dance for various reasons, whether it's social, emotional, intellectual, or physical well-being. So that was my route into dance, but I want to just talk about 3 different projects that I've been involved with different partners that's really about highlighting different pathways into dance. So there's a very traditional getting into it through private dance schools, going into vocational training, but there are many different ways of being involved in dance for many different reasons. So the first one I'm going to introduce is the dance ladder. All the projects I'm going to talk about have been done in development with various different partners, and I can't state enough how valuable working in partnerships and networks is to all the different projects I work on. So the dance ladder is really about highlighting those different routes in. This is in production at the minute, but if you are interested in having a copy of this, you can come and find me on the Creative Hertfordshire stand after this talk. So just to quickly go through, that is the front cover of the brochure, an introduction about how to use the guide in parallel with using the creativehertfordshire.com website. And then it goes through the different age categories, so it's all broken down into, depending where you're coming into dance. So firstly, dance is on the curriculum, so every child from 4 all the way through to 16 has the opportunity to do dance as part of the curriculum. But also people can make the most of after-school dance clubs, and there's private dance schools that run ballet, tap, modern, and those various dance styles. And then moving up through the different age categories, dance is continued on the curriculum, so it can be taken as a GCSE, A-level, BTEC course. But alongside that, there are providers that run other opportunities in dance. So One Dance UK, National Umbrella for Dance Organisations, runs the UHArts platforms, so people could take part in dance, performing dance on stage. There's young choreographer courses in different dance styles. There's national youth groups that people can perform in, but also county level dance groups as well. And then moving on from that, if people find they have a skill and a talent for dance, they can take that into a vocational training, so where they do intense dance training with a view to going into a performing career. Alternatively, there is something called the CAT training, Centres for Advanced Training, where you can continue your normal academic training and do intensive training weekends and evenings alongside that. And then taking it to the next level, there are degrees in dance, there's professional training. People can go on to do teacher training for secondary or primary level, and also teaching in the private dance sector. And then if you're wanting to get into dance as an older adult, there's information about where to find out that information. Okay, so as I said, that's the guide in a nutshell, and there's a more detailed listing out on the Creative Hertfordshire stand of the different organisations that we can signpost you to find out more information. So now I want to introduce the Creative Hertfordshire Dance Pathway film, which is young people talking about their roots into dance.
Well, I started dancing when I was really young, so about 2. With this specific dance company, I got told by my dance teacher at school. I love contemporary because it's so free and you expand your knowledge in so many different ways and you get to control your body in ways you wouldn't in other subjects.
The best way for young people to get into dance is join other young people in places like this, in dance clubs.
If they start out with one class of a style you feel comfortable with and then try more advanced styles from there.
Lots of people are scared to do it and it's just taking the jump.
I would like to be a professional dancer. Like, my biggest aim would to go into music videos or like TV. And when I'm older, I would like to start my own dance school or join a dance school and choreograph there.
Dance school, university, BTEC, and then on from there just continue getting work experience, continue absorbing as much as possible.
I know loads of different youth companies, for example Top Hat is good for getting into like stage production and things.
You can find lots of dance opportunities on Creative Hertfordshire.
I want to introduce is Museums in Motion. So the work I do through BEEE Creative really is about challenging the perceptions about who dance is for and who can get involved. Finding more and more, even going through dance, people say they're not taking advantage of what's offered in school because they're not the dancer. So developing projects that really addresses that imbalance. So Museums in Motion is a dance and technology project devised and managed by myself as BEEE Creative, with artistic direction from dancer Jennifer Irons and audiovisual artist Zach Walker. The project was driven by a desire to do more to reach out and engage new people in dance, and it explored the use of technology as a tool to present an artistic output without the anxiety associated with performing live for inexperienced performers. The project was funded through an Arts Council Grants for the Arts Award, Hertfordshire Music Service, Watford Borough Council and Public Health Hertfordshire. The first phase of this project took place between May and April 2016 in Royston, Stevenage and Watford Museum. And each museum had a 3-day creative process that started with a tour of the museum, a talk about heritage linked to what's inside your mobile phone, and exploring artifacts and collections in the museum that address the functions of the mobile phone in days gone by. That was the starting point of the theme. And we worked with 3 very different groups, including young carers, homeschool groups and young family groups. And the objective was to nurture the confidence and well-being by giving participants the opportunity to learn new skills whilst developing communication, leadership and teamwork skills. The participants were responsible for the choreography, the filming and the projection that you're going to see now. So the film I'm going to introduce is Museums in Motion from Watford. So we had 3 different films which are available online that were installations in the museum. So this is Museums in Motion, Watford.
I could do E.
Should I do them like this?
Yes.
Okay.
And finally, the last film I want to introduce is Improvising Generations. Improvising Generations was a pilot 3-day dance, music and improvisation and film project that took place in February this year. It was driven by a request from young people about having the opportunity to develop leadership skills, but also for older adults who wanted to have more performance-based opportunities. So the outcome was this Improvising Generations film. Thank you. Improvising Generations explores how disabled and non-disabled people across the generations can come together and work with each other and learn from each other. Improvising Generations creates a safe, respectful and equal space where dancers, musicians, organisers and filmmakers can develop their skills individually and as a group.
When people create, so when we give them the improvisation, then I see how that's going and then I will then piece it together, thread it together.
An invisible red thread connects those who are destined to meet, regardless of time, place or circumstance. The thread may stretch or tangle, but it will never break.
So what links us, what gave us our red thread, was an openness to each other, to our objectives of making, connecting, interpreting and sharing our experiences in creativity, improvisation, leadership and learning.
After registration we were straight away into improvising and it's been fascinating.
And I think what we were trying to really stimulate were those relationships between each other and between music and dance.
My name's Matt, I'm a flautist composer, and being involved with this project and using the medium of improvisation has enabled me to feel a creativity and energy that I haven't experienced for a little while.
And the music aspect, the piano, the flute was really powerful, and how we can integrate dance into the classical genre of music.
One more word? What do you think? What do you think of everything?
Well, when I'm dancing with you, I feel like I have an emotional connection with you.
Me too.
Yeah.
Alright.
Watching the young people and the older people work together, it was just so emotional to see how there's how the energies blend and how uplifting that can be and the joy on people's faces.
Yeah. Also working with musicians.
Yeah, it's nice to have the live music as
Absolutely, because you just didn't know what was going to sort of happen.
We hope our experiences, our learnings, our outcomes will help develop projects to encourage people to improvise across the generations.
What would I say?
I don't know. What do you want to say? You've got plenty of words.
You go first.
No, you go first.
We both go first then.
You go first, okay.
Well, you go first.
No, you go first.
Okay, I'm going first.
I really loved it. I really enjoyed it. I feel really proud of our little dance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the feeling I'm left with is always quite, calming and elegant and
Yes. Yeah.
Still, yeah, I got 4 or 3 days working with different people.
Yeah.
Especially people.
I think it's been absolutely fantastic. Exhausting, but very good.
So that's it from me. Thank you very much.
Would you mind? Don't run away too quick. Yeah, just time for a couple of questions, if that's okay. Thank you for having a seat again, and welcome back to the sofa. So, first of all, I've seen these lovely videos of these different dance projects happening and stuff like that. Whereabouts do they happen? Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
The actual venues?
Yeah, just...
I mean, all of these projects that I've shown today have been done in Hertfordshire.
Okay.
So Improvising Generations, the last film was done at Hertfordshire, at the Mid-Heart Centre for Music and Arts in Hatfield.
Yep.
The Museums in Motion project is a collaboration with Hertfordshire Museums.
Yep.
So that initial pilot was at Watford, Stevenage and Royston Museum.
Okay, wow.
But for 2018-19, we're rolling that out to 6 museums across the whole county.
Okay.
So,
that leads me to my next question. Is there a possibility of this sort of expanding outside of Hertfordshire County? Is there any plans to move it into different areas?
At the moment, it is a Hertfordshire project because that's where my network has developed and grown.
Okay.
But there's no reason why, certainly why Museums in Motion is now a model that can't be opened out and developed.
Fantastic.
Elsewhere.
Okay. And let's going back to you, and just would you mind sort of, we can now focus a little bit more time with you because now there's less people on the sofa. Going back to that inspiration question, you know, what inspired you to pick up dancing and you know, what obviously you're talking about, I can see you mentioned sort of contacts about getting involved in dance stuff, but obviously, you know, if people are looking at dance courses now, what kind of things would you, offer them? Like, what kind of advice would you give them? You know, where did you start, and where do you think it could possibly take them?
Okay, well, I got into dance because I was a very shy child, so I was taken very much as a confidence thing.
Okay.
And it's just something that I took to, I really enjoyed, and dance is one of those things, it's really hard to describe what it is that inspires you to it's that being lost in the moment, that you're just really focusing on the here and now and the creativity and the aesthetics of it. And I think that's something I try to retain through all the work and the opportunities I give to other young people, is actually dance, despite all its benefits and particularly at the moment, a huge drive for dance and health and well-being. Dance is still an art form, so giving opportunities to develop that aesthetic, to work with professional artists, because that's something that's kept me going, is working with other professional artists, been really inspired by working with musicians, digital artists, and how that could be integrated into dance. So drawing your inspiration from lots of different places, and other choreographers as well. I think what's really important when thinking about my network, yes, I have a network of dance contacts and I engage with the wider dance field, but actually on a more local level, most of my contacts are people within other art forms, other organisations. So I think really thinking about those networks.
Wow, okay. And my next question is, obviously you're talking about the different dance projects that you had there, with the different agendas going on. But what kind of gave you the idea to have the different projects with different agendas? How did that how did you get into that? Where was the light bulb moment for that?
For any of the particular projects, or just generally?
Just generally for those kind of dance projects that you had there.
I think for me, it is about the engagement and really finding the opportunities for people to explore that for the first time. So, and it's dance, you might try one dance form and that won't be for you, but that doesn't mean other dance forms aren't. So I think with any of the projects I do, it's not necessarily all about being a pure dance project. So I like to bring in different art forms. So there's opportunity for people to have a choice, try different things. So for Museums in Motion, actually it was driven by me and it was a dance project. But actually if somebody decided they liked the music or the filming or the projection element, there was nothing to stop them progressing in that way. And I think that's really important for me in the learning and participation. It's just offering that choice and finding a way of making a connection to people. So whether they're familiar with the venue or they know other people, but just making the project relevant to them, so that initial hook, because more often than not, once they are engaged, it's like, wow. And that wow that other people get is what inspires me to keep doing it.
Perfect. No, I know exactly what you mean as a teacher. When you see other people inspired, it is that drive to keep it going and to keep doing it and to keep inspiring more people. Thank you. That's really, really nice, and thank you for coming on and giving us those films and presentations. Thank you very much.